Chris, what is our fourth main topic today?
This one comes from Clark, Washington. Over the weekend, it was revealed that a new Black Adam trailer will be released on June 8th. I wanted to ask you about the importance of this movie. While DC as a whole is doing fine, the DCEU has greatly struggled post-Aquaman. Shazam did fine, while Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984, and The Suicide Squad all flopped. So just how much pressure is there on Black Adam to deliver?
All right, thanks for sending that in. And of course, one of the more interesting DC projects, which was announced in 1883, was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to be playing Black Adam. So they say. And listen, there is, I don't think, any actor out there who was born to be in a comic book movie more than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The guy is a living, walking comic book like sketch. I mean, when you look at him, and the funny thing is, it's like this might be the first superhero that we see that does not need artificial padding in their costume. He looks ridiculously good. Now, of course, they dropped the first teaser for it. And I thought the first teaser was fine for a first teaser.
Yeah.
I mean, Dwayne Johnson absolutely looks great as Black Adam. He totally does look fantastic. But we're still kind of waiting for the first real trailer that's going to give us our little bit of insight into what's this really going to be. At this point, we still have no idea who even the antagonist of this movie is going to be. Now, there's obviously going to be a little bit of Black Adam versus the Justice Society. I'm sure that's going to be a plot point in there as well. But there's got to be one main antagonist. There have been some whispers, but we don't really fully know. I suspect we're going to get that in the next trailer. And now we know when that next trailer is going to be. Dwayne Johnson got on social media and wrote the following. For the millions and millions of you out there who know that the Black Adam mythology, you understand the meaning and the power of this throne. I made a promise to myself that I would not sit on the throne until we shot the actual scene where Black Adam has earned his right to take his sacred place on high. So I always just sat on the steps and did my homework. We finally filmed the iconic moment, and what a moment it was. World premiere of the Black Adam trailer, June 8th, and that comes to us from Dwayne Johnson. So a little over a week from now, about a week and a day or two from now, we're going to get another Black Adam trailer. This is interesting for a couple of reasons, because number one, this will, even though the first was just a tease, this is kind of technically the second trailer. And the movie's still like 4 months out. Now, 6-7 years ago, that wasn't uncommon. We would have 7 trailers by now, by 4 months out. But now, 4 months, 3 months out is when we generally get the first real trailers going now. And we're going to go into the second, so that's fine. Number two, announcing the arrival of a second trailer like a week in advance. That's a little bit different and new. But hey, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson knows how to keep Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the conversation. So he's very, very good at that. That's why he's the biggest star in the world. So we got that coming as well. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm dying to see this new one. I want to get a better scope. I enjoyed the first trailer. Seeing him in the Black Adam costume is just ridiculous, especially when you realize that's all his own real muscle under there. The guy is just a phenomenal specimen. But the viewer who writes and asks an interesting question. How important is this movie right now for DC? And I think the way they structure the question symbols it perfectly. They've been struggling. Shazam, I admit, I like Shazam more than most people. I thought Shazam was freaking awesome. I love that movie. I am so charmed by it. I laugh. It's warm. I just really, really love the film. But I love Mark Strong in everything. So whatever. Mark Strong plays Mark Strong in this movie. There you go. But I'll eat that up all day, every day. But as great as James Gunn's Suicide Squad was, flopped. Understanding a lot of other peripheral issues surrounding Wonder Woman 84, flopped. What was the other one that he mentioned in his email? I can't remember. Birds of Prey.
Which everyone here except for me.
That's right. It's my only DC movie that I legitimately do not like.
I love it. It's got a bitchin' soundtrack.
It does have a good soundtrack. And of course, Obi-Wan's in it, Ewan McGregor. That's always a good thing. But I mean, they are struggling. So they have a couple of really important marquee things coming up here. Obviously, Aquaman 2 is coming up. But Black Adam has to be a hit. It's got to be a hit. Because if this movie is not a hit, I wonder how much rope David Zaslav is going to give this DC universe as it stands. Because he's the new boss. And he's coming in and seeing a DC properties that are far behind in second place, behind Marvel. It's not a competition, but you want to be in that conversation. And right now the conversation is Marvel's the gold standard when it comes to the comic book movies, and DC is a far distant second. You may or may not agree with that statement yourself, and that's totally fair, but that is the general perception of it, right? And David Zaslav did not buy Warner Brothers for $1,000 trillion, or however much it was, to be in that kind of a place. And of course, he's looking at hiring a new movie czar who's going to come in and oversee all that kind of stuff. How big of a role will Alan Horn come in that? That's another discussion for another time. But if Black Adam falls on its face, when you've got the biggest movie star in the world in it, and if it doesn't come across well, if it doesn't work with the audience, I've got a feeling the current iteration of the DCEU may not be long for this world, and we'll get Flash put out and probably a couple of the other projects that need to come out because there's contractual obligations. But there may be a resetting and a rebooting of this universe, maybe not too far down the line. He's questioning his deals even with J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot. I mean, there's this stuff coming. How important is Black Adam? I think pretty fucking important. Mm-hmm. I think this is really important for the powers that be over that this thing be good. And will it be good? We won't find out till it comes out in October, but we might get a little bit better of an idea on June 8th when this new trailer comes out. Rob, you hear The Rock saying we got this new trailer coming June 8th. How big of a deal is this trailer? And ultimately, how important is this Black Adam movie?
Well, I think every movie that a studio makes is important to the studio.
Sure.
You know, and this film, I think, look, the Batman did quite well.
Did great. Loved it.
Joker did well.
Won Academy Awards.
Oh, yeah, won Academy Awards. I think Aquaman is going to do very, very well. I think that they look at this movie as not necessarily a DCEU film. I think they look at Black Adam as a standalone Dwayne Johnson movie that happens to be about a superhero that was from DC Comics, and before that from a different comic company that DC acquired. So I think they see this as, in a way, it can be a one-off, even though it's connected to Shazam. But I think that they see this, because it's Dwayne Johnson, more importantly, as a Dwayne Johnson franchise starter. Like they could...
they're not looking at this as one movie. They're looking at this as a franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're looking at it as its own franchise. And if it works, obviously putting Shazam and Black Adam together would be a good thing. So I think that's what they're looking toward. And as a matter of fact, the Shazam Black Adam, I mean, in the original comics, the Captain Marvel world was its own world.
Right.
You know, it was not incorporated with Earth 1 or Earth 2. It was Earth S, I think, in the comics. And they could very well be looking to that. And they could have a sub-world within the DCEU. And I think that, you know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson he's a charismatic, he's bigger than the character of Black Adam. Whereas Henry Cavill is not bigger than the character of Superman.
Right.
But Dwayne Johnson, Black Adam is a lesser character. Not a lot of people know him, even if you're a big comic book fan. So I think as far as Warner Brothers is concerned and David Zaslav is concerned, he's probably looking at this as a Dwayne Johnson franchise starter. So I don't think it's as important to the wider DCEU because, John, the standalone DC movies are doing, there's a few that haven't been doing well, but your marquee titles, Aquaman's a marquee character, Batman's a marquee character, those they're doing good. And, you know, we've got maybe Blue Beetle. They've got a lot of different balls in the air, but I do think that this is, first and foremost, they're in business with the biggest movie star in the world, and they're looking at this as that movie star's big film, more so than the DC universe.
We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Stamps.com. Now, guys, as a small business owner myself, I'm always looking for ways to save costs, yes, but I know that our most valuable resource is time, and I'm always looking for things that can save us time. Stamps.com saves you both. Because when you're running a small business, every second counts. You can't afford to waste a single moment. So why are you still taking time out of your day to go to the post office when you could be using Stamps.com instead? Stamps.com makes mailing handling and shipping quick, easy, and cost-effective. How cost-effective? Well, you can get discounts that you can't find anywhere else, like up to 30% off USPS rates and 86% off UPS. And there's no special hardware technology you need. All you need is your regular computer and printer, no special supplies or equipment required. So guys, stop wasting time and start saving money when you use Stamps.com to mail and ship. Sign up with the promo code CAMPEA for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts needed. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code CAMPEA. Chris, we see what he's saying. How big is this new trailer? How important is this movie to the whole overall health of DC? By the way, I was looking at it pessimistically, like, how is it important that it not fall on its face?
Yeah.
But how big could it be if it ends up being a hit at the same time? How do you see it standing?
I mean, if this does well, it could be huge. We've got so many characters here. We have Dwayne Johnson. We have a lot of things that should go right here. So a lot of ticks for yes on this one, right? And I think this could be the crown jewel, if they want to, of the DCEU, should all the execution go well. That's great. The issues here, though, are that the other films just haven't been doing well. And what we have coming up on the roster, too, are also riddled with other outside issues, right? Aquaman 2, as much as fans like Aquaman, that still has some outside drama and things that are really, really pushing on that franchise. And also, is that sequel going to live up to expectation? We've got...
Flash?
I think no. I think that's the only movie. Yeah, it's just Aquaman is the only thing left on the roster because that's not a real movie. So it does have a lot of pressure on it though to do well, right? And I love the idea of hopefully. I know this is supposed to be a very dark anti-hero, but I do love the idea of eventually Shazam and Black Adam existing in the same universe. I would like if it's not self-contained so that we see that dichotomy because I do like the growing danger that Billy has to keep dealing with and the more adult danger he has to keep dealing with. You know, he's been in his little, like, his personal world with all the other Shazam kids. I think it's exciting to see him put in more and more imminent danger. And I think the juxtaposition between Black Adam and Shazam would be really, really exciting to look at. If it's done well, I think it's going to be huge. I also think that The Rock is a hype man, so everything he does is the next big thing, and it's so amazing and so exciting.
That's why he's so good at his job.
Yeah. Every interview he does, he manages to pitch his tequila, which is great. But like, he's a showman, so everything he does is obviously going to have big flair, big finesse. I think this is going to be a great trailer to see more of what the film's about. Hopefully get more Dr. Fate. That's personally what I'm most excited about. But is it the biggest trailer ever? I don't know.
Don't forget, we already did see in a form, we saw Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the first Shazam movie, right? They foreshadowed him in that a little bit. I don't know. So what are you thinking?
Well, you know, another thing, I just listening to you talk, it occurred to me that in the DC universe, there was Earth 1 and Earth 2. And the Justice Society of America was Earth 2. There is no reason to say that you could have within the DCEU different sub-universes.
Yeah.
And they're introducing, on the grand scale, they're introducing Dr. Fate, they're introducing Hawkman, they're introducing Atom Smasher.
By the way, how good does Hawkman look?
Dude.
So good.
If it's a cater whole Hawkman, I mean, I love Hawkman. It doesn't have to be in the same universe they're leaning into with the flat, if it comes out, if it's a real movie.
It's real.
That, you know, whether it's post-Flashpoint, whatever. But they could be establishing a second DCEU within the context of the Shazam movies. It would work in terms of the comic books. And it wouldn't contradict anything else that we've seen before. And I think it's pretty interesting that they're introducing magic, and that's something that Superman is vulnerable to. So by keeping it in its own thing, they're not interfering. Like, you could literally have a whole new Justice League over here and then have your call it the Black Adam universe if it's successful, and then they could have their own meeting the way they used to do in Justice League comics.
Is that how they're doing it, though? And I'm not sure that it is.
I don't think I don't think they are doing that right now, but I'm saying if this movie is a real big hit, this is a very different kind of movie than Aquaman is or that Flash is. So they could keep this unto itself. I mean, if this movie makes $1 billion, if it's that good, they might want to do that. But I don't know. I mean, it's there. You know, the opportunity's there.
Guys, Question is for you. What do you think about this? First of all, we got a brand new trailer for Black Adam, still 4 months out from the movie, but it's coming next week. I'm very excited to see that. How important is this movie for DC right now? Being if it falls down, if it's a huge hit. What do you guys think about this? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.